nice way. It makes humans look, well, more human when you're watching videos, for example. If we close it, you can see we've got that swirl lid just like on the UX31A, and in fact on the UX31E, which was the first Ultrabook from ASUS that came out last year. Gorgeous attention to detail. Same design really here, same kind of taper going on, really nice hardware, beautifully finished edges over here, modern angle designs. And on the bottom here we've got the same plate with a lot of little Torx T5 screws. Now if you unscrew that, here's the other thing that's special versus the UX31A and E. There pretty much everything was soldered on the motherboard except for the proprietary style stick SSD drive. Here you actually have a RAM slot, and we'll show you a photograph of that in a minute, and a standard conventional 2.5-inch 7mm hard drive in here. So this guy has a 500 gig hard drive and has a small SSD drive that's used for express cache with Intel. You don't have access to that, you can't put programs on it, so it's just used for speeding things up so you don't feel the slowness of the 5400 RPM standard hard drive. But that is attractive because this is upgradable. You could put your own 2.5-inch SSD drive in here. There's a lot of them on the market. The Samsung P830, the Crucial M4, OCZ has them. Of course, you're bringing up the price. This guy here comes with the Core i7 ULD 1.9 gigahertz, the 500 gig spinning conventional hard drive with the little SSD, iSSD it's called, at speed up performance, and it's $12.99. So if you start looking at SSD drives that can run anywhere from 200 up to 600, depending on the capacity you want, you're looking at a pretty expensive machine here. You're getting in Sony Vaio Z territory, but you're still not going to get the performance that the Z has. You do get the dedicated graphics here, but we'll talk more about that later because they're not the sharpest graphics on the block. Anyway, you've got your exhaust vents over here. Does not get too hot, even though it's metal, and metal transfers heat, generally speaking. It's comfortable to keep it on your lap. Hot air does blow from the vents. The hottest is, if you're really running it, say you're playing games or playing a lot of video, it can get up to about 105 right at the center of this vent right here, which I found isn't a place I particularly contact when I hold it. Here it stays in the upper 90s, the top surfaces stay in the mid 90s, so good there. If we take a look at the ports on the side up first, before we do that, these funny little grills here, this is actually where your speakers fire from, one on each side, and the speakers are mounted right underneath. Not quite as blocked as they are in the UX31 design, where the speaker is running across this way, so it's not really getting much exposure. And up top there, by the display, that is not your speaker. Here we have our 3.5mm audio jack. We have a little flashing light to tell us the machine is sleeping right now. We have the mini VGA port, and ASUS includes a dongle adapter for that, so you can output to regular VGA. Full-size HDMI port versus the micro HDMI on the other Zenbook models. 2 USB 3.0 ports on this side. Here's your charging port. This side, a third USB 3.0 port, and here's your SD card slot. Again, just like the Zenbook UX31A and E, you get a USB Ethernet adapter in the box. There is no Ethernet port on this guy. Now let's compare it to the UX31A. You're talking about the same footprint here, obviously. And as we look at the side, you can see how similar they are. The same design here, slightly taller over here, and really ASUS hides most of the additional size by giving it a little bit of a belly curve over here, so this plate actually has more of a curve to accommodate, well, the internals. If you look at the difference in ports, well, it's pretty obvious. Here we have one USB 3.0 port on the UX31A. We have our micro VGA and micro HDMI versus the full size here, and the 2 ports for USB here. Same placement for the power brick. They do use slightly different power bricks. The UX32 comes with a bigger power brick. Same style, that kind of black block. That's sort of a copy of Apple's MacBook Pro charger, MacBook Air. On this side here, got the USB 3.0 port each, the SD card slot, and this guy has the headphone jack on this side. And now we've got them open.